Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I'm playing around with a fuse tool, F-U-S-E. It's this metal roller tool that many of you have in your stash. You can pick one up at Tuesday morning. Sometimes you can get them online. If you don't have one, I'm not saying run out and buy one. I had this kit that I got as a door prize, and it was a Fusables kit. And it's navy. I liked it. I wanted to play with it. It had some really neat embellishments in it that I was just curious about. When I got this out and started playing with it, the paper is almost vinyl. They make these fusible kits so that you can melt them with your tool. Like I said, if you don't have the tool, don't go out and buy one. It is not something you're going to use all the time. But I hope that this video inspires those of you who have it to get it out and use it. It comes in different colors too. Some of them are purple, some of them are this minty teal. I'm playing with the kit. So it came with these little pouches, and I had long since lost the sequins and shaker assortments that came with it. I don't know what I did with them. So I got out other things from my stash. The fuse tool usually comes with this, let's call it a ruler, and it has a track for you to run the thing in. The tool itself can be really frustrating. Let that sucker get hot. I mean, plug it in. We're talking 5 minutes, set it aside. Don't let it touch anything. It will melt your scissors or your pencil or whatever it touches. And it needs quite a bit of pressure and to be kind of at a shallow angle for the end to actually roll and seal things. If you're frustrated with it and you can't get it to seal, let it get a little hotter and practice on something that's not too important. I used it originally for pocket letters, so I was sealing the tops of the baseball card holders. Here I'm sealing the actual things that it came with. I found these much harder to work with. They were a little bit thinner and maybe harder. This part I've sped up because I'm repeating it so many times and just messing around. But there was one at the beginning, I think, where I cut it out. Or maybe I forgot to turn it on. I don't know. But that's why I keep shaking them upside down so much and playing with them afterwards, because they just would not seal. I had the hardest time with them. In pocket letters with the baseball card slot storage things, I find them more, manageable. These things were just hard. I wouldn't purchase one of these kits for sure. But if you have one in your stash, pull it out and play with it. Then I think it came with 4 or 5 of them, and I made a whole bunch of them. And I do have some sitting around. So if you watch this and you think I would love to play with these, let me know, because I'm happy to share. I didn't finish the cards. You're going to see at the end. Now I'm trying to show you, you can't, I don't think you could tear this stuff. It's not paper. It looks like a tri-fold card, but it feels more like a vinyl. So you can take the fuse tool and see I've attached it directly onto there. I've melted it. So you're melting vinyl to vinyl. So they're kind of fun, but I think it's one of those things that was so obscure or specific, they didn't really catch on, right? Because you would have to buy this stuff and you can't use all the beautiful paper in your stash. So I'm looking at the kit it came with and I'm messing around. Even if you weren't doing a fuse tool and you just wanted to do a shaker card or something, this concept applies, right? You could make a tri-fold thing and then do a circle punch and put your little sparkly stuff right there so it shows. It's the same idea. And that's why I keep folding it so many times, because I'm trying to make sure that I'm sealing it down in the right place. And by this time, the tool's nice and hot, so the stuff seals down pretty easy. And I mean, it's a neat idea, right? It's a great way to make shaker cards. If you don't have one of these, you can use your sewing machine and tool. You could use a needle and thread and tool. I don't know that I love the plastic vinyl-y feel, but you could also just use packaging that your products come in, or even non-craft products, and stitch up the end or tape up the end and fold it into a card like this. It wouldn't show. So this is not a run out and buy this. It's just to play with it. Okay, then this is where it got messy. In the directions, you're supposed to take this ruler and this thing, and this would roll perfectly, and it would be great, right? And it would leave like a faux stitching around the edge of the card. Well, it's really hard to melt the stuff. You would think that the products that were purchased with it would work better, but it's hard. Also, the end of that thing was loose, and it took me a while to figure it out. See, right here, I haven't figured it out yet. It was actually unscrewed, so it was rotating. So here I am trying to straighten it out, and then I figure out it's loose. Okay, so now it's tightened up, so that will help. Notice how I hold it low, not perpendicular to my actual work surface. And because these are vinyl, you can do this. Okay. You know, there's a lot of packaging in your craft room. You get all sorts of disposable things. At the end, I'm going to show you the idea that finally occurred to me that uses things you probably already have and you wouldn't necessarily buy this fusible kit. I think with alcohol inks or alcohol markers, you could do all kinds of cool things. See? So you could do that to your pocket letters or any other packaging that you have. Just stitch around the edge. But be careful because this thing is hot. This is not one of my safest projects, and it's also not something that I would want to do with kids. Probably one of the worst things for me because it's crazy hot and I'm so messy, so it gets on everything, right? You have to really make sure that nothing gets near it. Okay, just figuring out where to attach those, same thing. And again, you could repeat this with tape and plastic and a trifold card that you made from any piece of cardstock or paper in your room. And notice they did some with circles, some with hearts. That will be harder if you only have punches, but if you have dies, you could put a heart right in the middle of a square and run it through. There's also those weird punches that they sold at Tuesday Morning and other places that you can place anywhere on a piece of paper. They don't have to be near the edge. And some of my punches go like 3/4 of an inch in, so they would work anyway. This package came with ephemera, and I thought it was paper, right? Because I hadn't really played with it. But it's a semi-vinyl stuff, just like these cards. Now, this is where I thought, wait a minute, why hadn't I ever thought of this before? And again, this is the part where I spilled a whole bunch of sequins. Yeah, in true Sarah style, big mess. Okay, so I've put all the fusible stuff away, and here's my baseball card covers, and then I'm showing you, this is a pocket letter, it gives you an example of what you can make with these. Then I have this 6x6, I don't know what this came from, but it's been wandering around in my room, and so I decided to play with it. It's like a photo album page of some sort, right? So what I did was I put a bunch of sprinkly, shaky stuff in there, and then you can divide it into your own sections. So say you have somewhere in your house one of those ancient photo albums with the slide-in pages that you're never going to use and it's empty, or you don't want the pictures. You can use those pages and make pocket letters. You don't have to go out and buy baseball card ones if you don't have them. So what I'm doing right here is I made a little shaker section of my choice. I just decided, and then I'm showing you that I've made pockets of different sizes. So I made a pocket that the card would fit in, and then I made one where some shaker stuff. So I could put this all together and send it to someone, and they would have cards in the pockets, and then they would have shaker supplies that they'd probably just need to cut them open and use them, right? So another idea for sending happy mail. This is, I'm going to call it fabric washi or sticky fabric. It's a roll of fabric, so I'm sliding it down in, made a long skinny pocket, just showing you if you have a fuse tool like this, other ways to use it. It doesn't just have to be used to seal up the top of a traditional pocket letter. But this isn't the main point of this video, which I didn't even figure out till the very end when I started having fun. This one I had damaged before and played with. It had alcohol ink on it from an alcohol marker. Then I put archival ink on these. Didn't work as good. Forgot that I had alcohol markers. So if you have those, go find them. Now I'm cutting out some shapes. You could also use your dies. You could use any flowers. I'm just experimenting, so I just wanted it quick. And I mostly needed them colored so you could see them. So I'm cutting out what could be flower petals. If I made them in green, they could have been leaves. I just wanted to make 3. I didn't want to do a bunch. In the pack, they gave me hearts and all sorts of ephemera, and they showed, oh, you can melt them on with your fuse tool. So watch what I'm doing. I have the pocket letter jacket, or whatever you're going to make, right? If you're going to do Happy Mail or send something to a friend or maybe party decorations. And then I took that petal that I made and colored and melted it on. I could melt a bunch of those in a floral pattern. I could put stars. I could do snowflakes. Look at how cute that is. So you could put it on the outside of your pocket letters. So if you have your fuse tool sitting around and you think, why did I buy this thing? Think about not just using it to seal your pocket letter, but also using it to add dimension to the outside of your pocket letter. Fall leaves, oh my gosh, they'd be gorgeous. Oranges and browns, and then fall papers underneath, all kinds of things. Then I was thinking you could use dies and cut tags or sentiments out of plastic and then melt them on the outside too. So it wouldn't have to be just leaves or flowers or snowflakes. So I hope you got inspiration out of this video. If you have a fuse tool, get it out. Bye-bye.